Consumer-facing AI models excel at conversation. They process queries, generate text, and wait for a human to tell them what to do next. But corporate operations require systems that can initiate actions, communicate across multiple channels, and adhere to strict governance logic. Moving from a passive chatbot to an active execution engine requires abandoning the single-thread chat window. It demands a multi-tiered orchestration pipeline. An autonomous AI chief of staff, like the system-designated chief, provides a technical blueprint for this exact architecture. This matrix tracks enterprise execution capabilities. When tasked with sending emails, issuing SMS messages, or placing phone calls, standalone models universally fail. The limitation is not cognitive. These models possess deep reasoning capabilities, but they operate without the architectural wrappers necessary to interface directly with external business tools. Building an enterprise AI system is an engineering challenge. It requires constraining intelligence within real-world business logic. Standalone models are stateless. Every new conversation begins with zero knowledge of the specific business environment. The solution is a persistent context layer. A company constitution is injected into every request before the AI processes the user's prompt. This permanently removes the burden on the user to write extensive, zero-shot prompts explaining their business model. As this diagram illustrates, foundational data like the industry profile, company mission, and key personnel are actively loaded into the context window first. Operational frameworks such as the buyback loop and the Dream 100 follow immediately, governing how the system will prioritize its tasks. The system simultaneously loads mathematical formulas for SaaS metrics, including net retention rate and customer acquisition cost payback. This injection sequence executes invisibly on the back end. It is protected by admin-level settings to prevent unauthorized alterations to the operating logic. An autonomous agent can only act intelligently if its base layer forces it to know exactly who it works for and how it measures success. The second structural limitation is processing capacity. Multi-step business operations quickly overwhelm a single-thread model. Overcoming this requires a multi-model orchestration pipeline, categorized into 3 distinct operational speeds: quick, think, and deep. Look at this routing sequence. A user query hits a central Gemini 3 flash planner, which first calculates the task's complexity to determine the necessary depth. Rather than forcing one model to execute every step, the planner dissects the task, sending parallel subtasks to highly specialized nodes. Legal documents map to GPT 5.6 Terra, strategy routes to Claude Sonnet 4.6, and fast execution drops to Claude Haiku 4.5. The user makes no manual selections here. The orchestration layer autonomously assigns the right tool for the job. For high-stakes business analysis, the system shifts into deep mode, pulling compute from all 3 AI specialists simultaneously. This triggers an agent-to-agent peer review. The distinct models critique each other's outputs, highlighting analytical gaps. This internal review pipeline enforces quality control natively, removing the need for a human to check the initial draft. The final peer-reviewed data feeds back into the planner, synthesizing the critiques into a unified action plan. Enterprise intelligence requires this specific structure of planning, delegating, and reviewing, rather than relying solely on the processing power of one model. An internal plan is useless unless the system can execute it externally. The Tier 3 action layer pushes these plans into the real world. The orchestrator connects with external provider APIs to trigger actual events. Autonomous execution without hard-coded constraints creates a massive corporate liability. This introduces the governance layer, functioning here as a strict recipient block list. Every outgoing command is scanned at this gate. No amount of internal AI reasoning can override this checkpoint. The system cannot contact a blocked recipient. Once cleared, the action layer activates. It can compose and deliver emails via the Resend API, or generate formal PDF documents complete with precise signature metadata. Integration with the Twilio API enables the system to dispatch validated SMS messages or place outgoing phone calls using a synthetic voice. There is also a dedicated owner escalation route. When operations hit a critical threshold, this route bypasses the standard block lists to place an immediate throttled phone call directly to human leadership. A viable enterprise system requires the capability to act autonomously, combined with the hard-coded constraints to act safely. Evaluating current models requires looking at the context, orchestration, and action layers collectively. This feature matrix compares the custom chief architecture against leading general-purpose models. The discrepancy in execution features is absolute. Chief automatically applies business frameworks and SaaS metrics precisely because its context layer was built to hold them. Checking the second half of the matrix reveals the governance mechanisms. Enforcing a cross-channel recipient block list is standard for this architecture and entirely missing from standalone alternatives. Out of 21 required enterprise integrations, Chief successfully executes 20. Claude and ChatGPT execute 0. Those standalone models remain highly effective at reasoning, answering questions, and generating text. But a modern enterprise requires systems that execute business processes, rather than digital oracles that simply answer and wait. Scaling AI across a company relies on purpose-built architectures that can parse complex plans, pass strict governance checks, and act autonomously across external channels.